There's a long-term effective way to help stomach issues, and then there's the other option, which is not effective, but it is convenient and it is super inexpensive, and so most people choose this option. I do not suggest this option, but unfortunately this is what most people do. Hi, my name is Phil. I'm with Silver Fern brand. So typically, if a person has stomach issues, they do what? So a lot of people will start with some form of an antacid, or I love this one, they go with the grandma's baking soda with water approach, which obviously super cheap and inexpensive, but it's an antacid, just so you're aware. Not a good long-term answer. A lot of people say that when they're like, this is super cheap. And I'm like, that is true, but go research taking baking soda with water long-term for your reflux issues, and you're going to realize you should not be doing that, okay? Then there's H2 blockers and there's PPIs. If you talk to a doctor, which we train a lot of doctors, they're going to say if a person is on a PPI for a long period of time and it stops working, then they put them on an H2 blocker. Do they think that is smart? They do not. Why? Because it's not addressing the underlying root cause of the problem. So what are the causes? What are the underlying root causes of stomach issues? Let's start at the top. 1, a weak or damaged or just weak and damaged lower esophageal sphincter, a less. That's 1. 2, slow motility of the stomach. So a lot of people will be like, oh, not everybody has gastroparesis. True, but a lot of people have slower motility of the stomach, so it's not, the motility of the stomach's not as good as it should be. And when a person has a slow gastric emptying, so food is not moving through like it's supposed to, it causes intra-abdominal pressure, and that's what's going to cause the less to be weak and damaged. 3, low stomach acid. A lot of people are going to say too much stomach acid. There's only a few rare situations in which the problem is too much stomach acid. You may feel like there's too much stomach acid, but the reality is the real answer is low stomach acid. And before somebody says very few people have low stomach acid, let me say this out the gate. Very few people have hypochlorhydria, which is the extreme version of low stomach acid. Many people have lower than adequate amounts of stomach acid. Next, H. pylori overgrowth. This is a bacteria load that will absolutely hammer the stomach lining and cause reflux, heartburn, burping, belching, indigestion, all of that kind of stuff, right? So that's obviously going to be a cause, which leads to the next problem, which is an unhealthy stomach lining. Let me see if I can say this in an FDA compliant way. Unhealthy inflammatory responses of the stomach lining, right? So I think you guys know what I'm talking about. This is a problem. Food intolerances, food sensitivities, and bacterial overgrowth. SIBO will all cause reflux type issues. A hiatal hernia will cause reflux issues. Now, I'm going to say this out the gate up front. You can help this issue quite a bit, but you're never going to repair a hiatal hernia with products, at least not that I'm aware of. And last, parasympathetic nervous system dysfunction. These are the primary causes of why you're going to have stomach issues. So unless whatever you're doing is going to help that in some fashion or order, you're never going to address your issues. At Silver Fern brand, we try to be very proficient and effective at helping with this. Here's the problem with our approach. We're not blocking stuff, we're not restricting, and we're not inhibiting acid in any shape or form. We are taking the long approach, which is to do things correctly. So if you want our approach, you still need to stay on your acid blockers, H2 blockers, and acids for several weeks until we help restore your stomach lining, the health of your stomach lining, and improve gastric emptying, everything else, okay? So there's the caveat up front, but our approach is the correct approach, just FYI, okay? So we've got several different ways we do this, but for the purpose of this video, one of the things we have been very good at doing is improving our processes over the years. So Reflux Pro is the new product from Silver Fern brand. It has MucoSave in it, which is a clinically studied ingredient, and it has Gutgard in it. So MucoSave is a prickly pear cactus extract with an olive leaf extract. We get that from Sicily. And the second ingredient is called Gutgard. So Gutgard, I'll start with that one, helps with gastric emptying. I'm going to try and figure out a way to say this delicately. Helps with H. pylori load. So it's going to help with bacterial overgrowth of the stomach. However, I'm allowed to say that Gutgard is very good for that, okay? It's going to help the stomach lining. Also, by the way, going to help with the gut lining, just so everybody's aware. It's going to help with help restore healthy inflammatory responses of the stomach lining. So Very, very, very good ingredient for everybody who's wanting to get to the root cause of issues. We pair it with MucoSave. So MucoSave, I call it a salve. It helps soothe the stomach lining. It helps restore, it puts like a protective shield on the stomach lining and the esophagus. It acts like a barrier, and then it helps restore the stomach lining so that it's healthy again. And you need a healthy stomach lining so you can both secrete healthy normal amounts of acid and you can block acid. You're supposed to have normal acid levels. If you do not have healthy stomach acid levels, you get bacterial overgrowth, your pathogens are floating in, you're not digesting food like you're supposed to. You need stomach acid. Blocking it is not a great plan, okay? So that's the first product. Does Reflux Pro work really, really well? It absolutely does, okay? So it has the MucoSave and Gutgard. If you take it over roughly 60 to 90 days, you're welcome. It absolutely works. No ifs, ands, or buts, okay? But you're helping with underlying root cause issues. The dosing is dependent on how severe your issues are. Now so when people are like, how do you know it works? Well, we test it. Before we launch products at Silver Fern brand, we test the holy crap out of it, just so you know. So these are the tests. These are the vials we've been testing. Before this, we were using a product called MucoSave. It didn't have the Gutgard in it, so we have Reflux Pro because some people have really severe stomach issues. They need that help, and they have an H. pylori overload, and they wanted to address that up front before they got to the cleanup, which that made sense. And so then we launched Reflux Pro. Okay, so that's the first option. Mild issues, do the mild dosing. You have bad issues, you would do 2 stick packs a day, okay, for 60 to 90 days. If you have stomach issues with everything else, which seems to be common, constipation, really bad bloating, and everything else, we build out the gastric rehab protocol. Extremely effective, and with that protocol, we are pairing Reflux Pro with motility. Motility isn't just for constipation. The digestion in it is absolutely going to help with the stomach. The research strongly suggests it's going to help reflux, heartburn, burping, belching, nausea, and all those things. It is working by way of helping the parasympathetic nervous system. It's helping increase serotonin levels. It's helping decrease cortisol levels. By the way, it helps with sleep and all those things. So if you wanted to do the full protocol, which step 1 would be a pre-cleanup protocol, is to help turn on the system, it's to help restore the stomach, it's to help restore regularity. By the way, you're never going to do a cleanup successfully when your system is slow, just FYI. It's a huge mistake everybody makes. So the first thing we do with that protocol is we turn the whole system on, and then we do a cleanup. We do an effective cleanup, and then we do a buildup, and then you move on with life. Bloat-free and food freedom-free, by the way. Okay, so that's our approach to helping with stomach issues. It's ridiculously effective. It costs money and it takes time. Those are the downsides. I hope this helps. Bye.